Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from the rotunda of the state capitol at the legislature. Randi Thompson, who's on the rundown.
We've got William Horne, a sophomore assemblyman from Clark County, and Danny Thompson, head of the AFL-CIO.
And on the Power Pundit panel today, Bob Ostrovsky, Joe Guild, and Mike Alonso. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, water resources come from fresh, clean groundwater, approved by state permits. The water is pumped from wells to million-gallon storage tanks and then distributed to TRI companies. Another amenity is our investment in a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment plant. This disposal system converts waste to clean water for industrial applications. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevada.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada. Coverage of Nevada Newsmakers from the state legislature in Carson City is brought to you by the Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is a special edition of Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
Nevada Newsmakers, welcome to the program, Assemblyman William Horne from Clark County. Pleasure to have you on the program, sir.
Thank you for having me.
We've been trying for a long time to get you here. Glad we finally did it. You've got a bill up on eminent domain. Why has eminent domain been such a big deal at the legislature this session?
Well, you're talking about people's property. Talk about property rights. And if you know anything about Nevada, north or south, people are very serious when it comes to their property. And if the government's going to come and take it, they want there to be a good reason for it. And 87% of the state is federally owned, so that leaves a small portion for the rest of us. And so my bill, what it does is particularly focuses on redevelopment, and it makes the government jump a few more hurdles in order to do that taking.
For example?
For example, right now, in law, there's like 9 factors in which a government can choose a list of one to find a property blighted. Now your definition, my definition of blight may be different, but they only have to find one. If they find that one, that's enough for them to initiate, redevelopment and a taking. I've added a 10th indicia and called for 4 factors of the 10. So that's one example to do that, to raise the bar a little bit.
What happened in Vegas? Because you had a bill, Terry Kerr had a bill that are really focusing on redevelopment. Did something happen in Las Vegas recently that is driving this?
The most famous case is the Pappas case.
Right, downtown.
Right, downtown. There was a taking there. The government said they needed it for redevelopment, and basically it was a taking from one private entity to give it to another.
Yeah, okay.
Our Supreme Court found that was a just taking, relying on a Michigan case called Poletown in its rationale, basically turning it on its head. Taking is supposed to be for public use.
Right.
They did public purpose, and in the Poletown case in Michigan, GM was able to raise a whole neighborhood and do a taking because they said it was going to provide jobs, et cetera. Well, that same Supreme Court recently overturned that decision. So that was basically the impetus of driving the eminent domain issues in our state. It's like, should it be for public use? Should the state have a higher burden before it takes the land? Is it good public policy to take private land from one private owner and give it to another simply because this other private person says, you know what, I can put better use of that land than this guy can?
Mm-hmm. You know, that McCarran Airport, you've seen these places where people are making money and the government's in between the two, and that's just not the way it should be.
It shouldn't, and if it is, we want there to be sunlight on that transaction, and we want that burden to be greater than what it is now.
Okay, you've got a bill to fund a mental health court in Clark County. Is this creating a new one, or is there already one in existence?
There is one in existence. It was created actually after the 2003 session through grant money. And what it does is pretty much like the drug court model. And it tries to take these mental health patients out of this recycled system of going in and out of the jails, because it's very expensive to house them in jail or to treat them in jail, and also in and out of emergency rooms. And they're taking up beds in emergency rooms. When an ambulance brings them to the emergency room, they have to stay with them until they can be admitted. So that's another vehicle that's not on the street helping others. What this does is it funnels them to the appropriate care. Once you get these people on care, the cost to not only them but to the state is much cheaper.
Is it working?
It is working. It's very successful. They, with their grant money that they got, approximately $200,000, they've had a tremendous success, and that's why. And I brought a bill last session to get that money. It was unsuccessful. You know, last session was very contentious and.
Really? No, we never noticed.
But this session, I thought might be a better opportunity to get some money. So I asked for $2 million for this program. Washoe County currently has a program that's been operating longer, and that program is also very successful. And used Washoe County and also California and Washington, Kings County, as models for the program down in Clark County.
Cool. Now you're on the Education Committee, and there's been a lot of interesting education bills. What are some that you've passed out of committee that are probably going to make the biggest difference in education in the state?
Well, out of our committee, I think the biggest probably will be like full-day kindergarten.
Okay.
I think that'll have a really a profound effect throughout the state in a lot of different ways. The most important is giving our children an earlier boost. I know personally firsthand that the children can be ready to achieve at a younger age. My son just turned 2 years old, and we've been working with him at home, and he already recognizes about a dozen words you write him on a blank piece of paper, and he's already starting to read. So it's totally possible, and I think that's going to help our children in the long run in achievement.
Is there a battle going on at this point at the legislature between university funding and the K-12, full-day kindergarten, et cetera? Is that the big battle?
A battle? I wouldn't call it a battle. Anytime, everybody has their interest in funding their particular programs. I think that our higher education program understands the need that our K-12 also has a high demand for dollars in order to achieve success in our schools. But when you have a limited pot, everybody's got to make their appropriate cases to get it. But I don't think either one of them are saying, give to us, not to them. Mm-hmm. I think they both recognize the success of each other. Our teachers come out of our higher education system and teach our K through 12. So
They're connected.
they're very connected.
William Horne, thank you so much for being here. We
Thank you.
appreciate
I
it. Please come back
appreciate it.
again soon. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers with Danny Thompson right after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, welcome to the program Danny Thompson. He's the Executive Secretary Treasurer of the Nevada State AFL-CIO. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Got a lot of things to ask you about concerning labor issues, but wanted to start out with a certain degree of irony. Would you tell your story, please?
Recently there's a bill currently in the legislature about purchasing drugs from Canada for Nevada residents and the legality of that, and whether or not the debate is circled around from the opponents that it's not safe, that these drugs could be a problem. Well, I, like everybody else in this building, have got this flu thing that I've had for a month. I finally broke down and went to urgent care last week, and the doctor told me what the problem was and said, I want you to start taking these antibiotics, and I want you to start today, so let me give you a package, and then you go get this prescription filled. So I get the package that it comes in. I take 2 a day. And I look on the back. These drugs are licensed in Osaka, Japan. They're manufactured in Puerto Rico, and they're distributed in Chicago, Illinois. And so,
Isn't that incredible? And you're not dead yet.
And I'm not dead yet. And, but those drugs from Canada will kill you. And
But Osaka, Japan's okay.
Well, the thing is that, no one ever sees that. What you see is an orange bottle with a white lid with instructions from your doctor. Mm-hmm. You don't ever see where they come from. And, prescription drugs is killing everybody. I represent the largest group of insured individuals with health insurance in the state of Nevada. There's 345,000 participants. The cost of drugs are killing us. And and if you don't have insurance, you're either not taking them or you're not taking them at the dosage that you need.
Yeah, or you're trading food for drugs.
Exactly.
Or whatever. Yeah. We have got to get real about this. You talk to 90% of the senior citizens who go down to Yuma, Arizona, so they can cross the border to go to Algodones and get drugs that are half to a third cost. There are other companies in this country, even on the wholesale level, where you can buy drugs significantly cheaper than you can at the Walmart, for example. We got to get real about this, and hopefully there's enough political pressure at this point to be able to get some changes made, but it's nuts.
I represent the Culinary Union in Las Vegas, and their trust fund, huge trust fund, there's 55,000 members and their families. And, recently they had the biggest contract settlement they had ever had with the industry. That first year, all of the money went to shore up the health plan. And in addition to all the money going, they didn't get a pay raise. In addition to putting the money into the health plan, they had to do some innovative things. One of the things that they did was they opened their own pharmacy. They have a pharmacy for their members, and in like the first 6 months, they saved $1 million, or $900 and something thousand dollars. You know, the proof is in that pudding, because you know, you go in there, you get generic drugs. It's the same drug. It's not from necessarily from the the first manufacturer, but huge amounts of money in drugs, and it's a huge problem for everyone.
Well, speaking of, I mean, obviously the bills that are in the session right now about the hospitals really are a reaction to what you guys did last year with your contentious negotiations with the hospitals. Now, you're representing 345,000 people. You guys are cutting a deal. You're kind of holding the gun to the head of the hospitals. What about the other 1.6 million Nevadans that are going to be stuck paying higher costs because you guys are getting a good deal?
Actually, it doesn't work that way. And here's the case in Nevada. 1 in 4 Nevadans don't have health insurance. And it's a huge, huge problem. When we negotiate with not just the hospitals, and I tell you about the hospital negotiations, they wanted to raise our rates 20%. And a 20% increase would have broke the bank. And if we can guarantee volume to any business, whether it's a hospital or it's a car dealership or a grocery store, you're gonna get a better deal because they can operate on that volume. And so that was the issue, the amount of money that they wanted to increase charges for us. But having said that, the whole issue of charging is a huge one, and the issue of the amount of money that these hospitals are making in Nevada is obscene. And
well, I mean, the stuff that I've seen, the reports they've done are 2 to 3% profit margins.
Well,
of course, it depends on what's on the bottom line, but still, I mean, there's not a lot of money being made.
Randy, I got to tell you, it is an amazing thing that all these hospitals are opening up all over the place.
That's true.
And
Somebody's making money.
And no, doctors aren't making money, hospitals aren't making money, insurance, it's really phenomenal. May I change the subject on you just real quickly? Minimum wage. The objection is to the CPI being part of the minimum wage raise. Are you prepared to give that up to be able to get the minimum wage raise?
No, I'm not. And I don't obviously control what they do, and none of us do, and they'll do what they want to do or what they think is right. I don't plan on giving that up. We have a constitutional question that's passed, and let me tell you, that exact bill with the CPI built into it and with the healthcare component built into it was passed by the voters. It got more votes than any candidate in this building. It got more votes than any other question. And so I think the people have spoken. And so my plan is to go back to the people. Now, if the legislature enacts it, I mean, that's one thing. But I think the CPI is an important component because, listen.
You have to be brief here.
Okay, well, you're paying for those people either way you go.
Okay, and I got one last very quick question. John Wilhelm. If you're a betting man, what do you think the odds are of him heading up the national AFL-CIO?
I don't know.
He says he doesn't have the votes.
Right now, it's very close, and we'll know in July. And I'm going to be there in Chicago for that event. There are a group of unions led who are supporting John. I think John's a great guy. He's a great leader, and I really respect him and admire everything that he's done.
Okay, and we're out of time. Danny Thompson, always a pleasure. We'll be right back with the Pundits. Got a powerful group today, right after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers. Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management. And that's our promise to Nevada.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, what a power pundit panel for you today. Joe Guild, an attorney here and lobbyist. Mike Alonso with Jones Vargas, and also a lobbyist here. And Bobby O, Bob Ostrovsky, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Randy,
well,
take the first
the
shot
Ethics Commission is showing some non-ethical behavior recently. There's been some discussion on Stacey Jennings, the executive director, and how she's kind of taken after both Barbara Sagaski and Sandra Tiffany, and a little bit of leftover from what happened with Kathy Augustine. How do you guys see this playing out? No one wants to touch ethics.
Well, I think it's very important that the state have some good laws on the books, put some resources into this commission. I think the public deserves to have their questions answered and to be sure that anyone who steps over the line in any public kind of capacity has to answer to that.
But it sounds like the commission, Stacey Jennings, is stepping over the line. Who's the one that's monitoring what she's doing?
Well, I guess it's members of the legislature who have to really put some pressure on. I don't know her personally, so I don't really know.
I don't either. The Ethics Commission, in my view, over the last 5 to 6 years, has not had a consistency about it, and I think that's one of the problems. The consistency in the rulings and analysis of the rules by which it operates. So the public deserves some consistent analysis there, and I don't know Jennings personally either. But,
well, I think part of the issue is that, if you take the last 5 years, for example, you see all these issues that came up, whether it's Mayor Las Vegas or others, and the press attacks the issue. It's out there, public perception gets to be one way, and then the outcome is completely different or watered down than what people thought it was going to be. And so I think there's just a lack of confidence in the process right now, and that needs to be changed and strengthened.
Are some of the bills that we're looking at this session on ethics going to help there? I mean, there's some stuff in reaction to Kathy Augustine, but are they making their way through? Is the legislature doing its job, Bob? Is it been supposed to be overseeing these guys?
Well, I suppose they are doing their job, but I don't think you're going to see any major shift in the way the Ethics Commission works or operates. I'm not that familiar with all of the bills that are out there on these related to this issue, but a sea change doesn't happen in the legislative process very often. It's little steps that are taken in every legislative session, and we just got to hope that the outcome is better, because I think the public deserves better.
And Mike, with the Newsweek scandal breaking this week about the we thought we had a good source on the Quran being flushed down the toilet. Now we're backing off, and numerous people have died because of this. I think the public's confidence in the media's ability to report things in an accurate manner is once again challenged. And that's an unfortunate thing, and maybe there needs to be better communication and more open communication between these various entities and the media, so the media is able to get the story right. I brought up the topic with William Horne, Joe, about education being one of the battlegrounds here. Am I right or not? Is there a battle between, a full-day kindergarten and the university system, and who's going to win?
Well, I don't know who's going to win. None of us do. We may be pundits, but we're not soothsayers.
I got to take that off my business card.
Darn, that's why we're here.
Is there a battle? There's always a battle over money, and there's more money this time than there has been in recent years. I think the idea of full-day kindergarten is actually, I personally think it's admirable and necessary. I agree with what Mr. Horne was saying. The university's budget has been cut. We know that based on the enrollment figures that we saw just recently. That's part of their problem. Somewhere there will be a
reconciliation of that. And you remember that Senator Raggio's always been a champion of the university, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. But.
You made a point, though, that there's more money this year to fight over. Is the fight this year over more money tougher than last year when there wasn't any money? I mean, the last session? Is it? I mean, it's obviously a different fight, but is it uglier this
I think
year
that's the thing. It's a different fight.
Yeah.
And, you know, you got a rebate issue, you got funding of programs. I mean, you've got people all over the map. You've got two people running for governor. The dynamic's completely different. And I really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's going to come down to the end like it always does. But
yeah, well, I predict that there'll be more money put into the operating budgets of K through 12 and other programs, including higher education. And there will not be the pot of gold out there for capital improvement projects, as you know, some people might call it pork. And I think the numbers that we're throwing around in the hundreds of millions of dollars will shrink to way less than 100 million. And a lot of people are going to leave here disappointed.
And I'll tell you another thing. I'd just like to add on the Millennium Scholarship to bolster that, because I think the public has taken ownership of the Millennium Scholarship. The people of Nevada think that that is theirs now, and certainly the students have been promised that. So that's going to be another big component of this that we haven't heard a lot about, frankly. We heard a lot yesterday, and I think it just started to surface.
Well, I had an interesting phone call from a viewer yesterday who said we should take the surplus and put it into a fund for roads, because if we don't keep up with the road infrastructure, we're going to end up being like Southern California with total gridlock. I said, nice idea, don't think it's going to happen. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
High-tech companies demand perfect world amenities. They require clean, reliable power, state-of-the-art fiber optic communications, and clean water sources. In a perfect world, companies would have immediate access to rail and interstate freeways. There would be 4-lane expressways that shorten shipping times and provide convenient commute routes for valued employees. Well, the future is now, and it's here. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
If it's fun, it's here at the Peppermill, the $100,000 video-themed slot celebration, with more winners each week, 100 random winners every Monday and Wednesday, and more cash prizes. $6,000 random drawings every Friday, plus chances to win up to $1,000 in free slot play on Mr. Money's Challenge. You'll have more fun with the Peppermill's video-themed slot celebration, now worth over $100,000.
The slots that rock are at the Peppermill. Where are you winning?
And coming up tomorrow, we have a big show.
We do. We have the Kingmakers, Pete Ernott and Billy Faciliatis from R&R Partners.
It's going to be a heck of a show. Don't miss it on the next Nevada Newsmakers. Thanks for watching.
Up tomorrow, we'll have Senator Bob Beers and Maurice Washington to tell us all about it.
We'll see you next time on Nevada Newsmakers. Thanks for watching.